Welcome to the podcast with your favorite cash flow guys, Mike and Blaine, giving you the best advice while having a beer. When you're running a business, there are problems every day. Let Mike and Blaine help you out and guide your way. Cheers to the good times with Mike and Blaine for business, beer, and BS.
Hey, it's Mike and Blaine. I'm Mike Blaine, also known as Cashflow Mike. That is my friend, my partner, Blaine Birch, the CEO of Dry Run, the best cash flow forecasting software on the planet. What's up, man?
Ready to roll. Thursday rolled up pretty quick this week, and you know it was a long weekend for you guys. I think this week or last weekend. Not for us Canadians. We're just nose to the grindstone, working hard. So hopefully you had a day off there.
Just remember that in the future on Memorial Day, it's okay for you to take a day off, and never forget those people that put their lives before ours.
We will start. We have to start celebrating it in Canada. Although we have our Veterans Day. We have no Remembrance Day, but it kind of all goes together. So it's a little different up here. Yeah, I guess that's a day that we could use up here for sure.
Yeah, you were talking about how fast it came. All right, so here's what happened to me, and this is why it went so fast and why Courtney's mad at me.
Again.
Again. Have you ever gotten into a consistency exercise, meaning you're going through your app page by page, button by button, text by text to make sure every button's the same size, the same color for the same type of action, the same text, the same... You ever went through that?
Oh yeah, we do. It's painful and long, and it's you never kind of find everything, you know.
Dude, and if you ever want to just piss yourself off, do that, because I've been in that exercise for 3 days now, and it doesn't end at 5 o'clock. It's like, oh no, I found some more things, and I'm just like going, wait a second, does every delete button have a confirmation? And then I find a few that don't. Damn it!
Oh yeah,
it's like the craziest thing. Yeah. People just think software is the easiest thing to build. They don't realize you're talking to a machine, telling a machine what to do, and what they think is intuitive. No, somebody like you or I had to tell it to do that.
Yeah, exactly. And things like that, like consistency is really tricky. And sometimes you're trying to break consistency to actually make something stand out. So you can sometimes break your own rules because it needs to be in some places. Yeah, that's...
Yeah. So my days were ending sometimes at 7 or 8. I'd go to dinner. Then while she got in the bath, I would do another hour.
I got her.
It's just, but I think I'm coming up to the end. I'm like, okay, I'm feeling good about everything. I'll deploy tomorrow, from test, and people will see some new shit tomorrow.
Yeah, that's good. And you'll be done till next week when you notice something that you missed.
Oh, and it won't be me. It'll be somebody else notice it. They'll go, oh, you forgot to do blah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I call all the people that test or do things for me, I call them 2 mores, right? Because it doesn't matter.
2 more things.
They always got 2 more things. Oh, that's great. And then they come up with 2 more ideas on top of it. And the thing is, if you ask 10 people, they're never the same 2.
20. You have 20 more. Yeah.
It's 20 more things you got to do. So that's funny. Hey, speaking of, this is Mike and Blaine. If you're like going, what the hell? They just jumped right into it, skipped everything today. Mike and Blaine, this is Business, Beer, and BS. And I got to tell you, first of all, what are you drinking? Let's start there.
Yeah, I guess we're going to dive in here a bit. Okay, so I went and picked one of our favorite breweries in Edmonton, Irrational Brewing on 124th Street. And I picked this one, see if I can get it to focus. It's Ethereal 26. And there we go. And it's called a Sterling Lager. And it's just a really nice lager. And I've started to have much more of an appreciation for craft lagers and craft pilsners and these classic beers, just with a slightly different twist. And so, it's really good. And what do you got going?
I've got something for Wee Bert's Brewery. Wee Bert's being, neighbor Pat, one of our beer sponsors, brought down a 6-pack of beer. It's the Nutty Brown Ale. And I got to tell you what, Dude is stepping up his game. Everything about it is better. Check this out.
Nice.
First of all, we got new logos. We got
Nice.
new I guess labels. Now,
Yep.
I don't know why they're all wet and smudgy.
I was kind of what I was going to ask about that.
Because Pat can't do everything exactly perfect, but he even got better. Look, remember how I dog him on? Look, it's a lot closer this time. Look at that. He's maybe quarter of an ounce off.
Yeah. And yeah, better than the quarter of the 3 inches difference.
Sometimes you get a half a bottle on one, you get another one that's filled all the way to the top. Sometimes you pop the top off and it spills all over your desk. We've had all of those things, but we love neighbor Pat. He brought those down. We've been watching the Spurs game. That's still his chair, right? That's still his chair. I let somebody else sit in it last night, but but don't tell Pat.
He'll never know. He'll never know unless you're watching right now, Pat.
Yeah, he'll never know. He'll never know. So, but good. Hey, we do have beer sponsors. So,
yes,
Mike and Blaine, Business, Beer, and BS. I mean, we talk a lot about business, right? We try to take today's trending topics, connect it back to business and how you can impact your own business or just impact your life, right? We're actually getting wider in our scope. Mm-hmm. Beer is more about, I told somebody this weekend that this really started right around the COVID era, where there were COVID happy hours, and you and I were like going, hey, we should just do this, right? And drink a beer and talk the way we do now. So that's kind of how this started. And then, of course, BS is because there's no way you and I can keep a conversation on one topic for an hour without throwing some BS in.
Yeah, there's no we can barely get started 2 minutes in without BS. So
that's right. So anyway, we do have people that sponsor the show, and it's the best $5 you will ever spend, right? I said that out loud. It's only $5, right?
$5 you get an episode.
Yeah. And we're getting several thousand downloads an episode, and the shorts and everything is going crazy. People are engaging, giving us comments and stuff like that now. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, we're getting because we cover a lot of it's all over the place, right? It's easy to get little views here and some there and some there and some there, and then some of the shorts go bonkers. We get some really good traffic on the shorts. So the best $5 you'll ever spend. What you do is you just go to mikeandblaine.com. You can buy us a beer $5, or you can buy for like our beer sponsors. A lot of times we'll buy for the entire year, and we'll mention them every single week. So please like, subscribe, follow, and we're going to tell you about our beer sponsors. So we've already talked about neighbor Pat. Longest beer sponsor probably we've ever had. Is always bringing you beer down the path. But I also want to mention Larry Weinstein, CPA, best CPA in Houston, Texas. The cash flow cowboy is back, and back for, I think, till the end of the year. So thanks again, Larry. Really appreciate it. Hope you're watching the show.
There you go. Hey, and be on the lookout for his new book, The Banker's Edge, right? It's about how bankers can get closer to small business owners. So it's kind of a cool, really book that he just gave to me. I'm starting to go through it. So good job, Larry.
Nice.
Then we got Karen Hairston up in Michigan. She is the cash flow queen. If you have a small business and you're struggling, if you've ever felt like, man, I feel like I'm making money, but I never have any, you need to call Karen, or at least go to Amazon and buy her book, Stop Growing Broke, Start Growing Profits. It's on Amazon. It's an Amazon bestseller. You need to get that and add that to your collection.
Yeah, absolutely. And always got to thank Devin. He's a long time sponsor. And Devin he just supports the show, loves the show. And he is the biggest LSU fan on the planet. And I think actually he supports the show because we always have to, we always promote LSU football, basketball, I don't know, baseball, bowling. I'm not sure what all they have over there, but all kinds of cool stuff going on.
Oh, I'm going at least one game, maybe two this year over at LSU. It is one of the funnest places to watch a football game. I've got to tell you that. So I'm definitely going to go. Matter of fact, TJ, if you're listening, don't forget, we're going to the LSU Texas game. So if TJ's out there and he's listening, TJ and I, and I'll tell you a little story. This is like free stuff for him. He's got a franchise now that does like supplements and GLPs and stuff like that. And I got to remember the name. I won't remember the name, but because he just told me about it. But he and I met. We were season ticket holders for the Kansas City Chiefs, and his seats are right next to my seats. And we became lifelong friends after 9 years of heartache and heartbreak and, miserableness and fun and exciting times. But we've been lifelong friends, and I appreciate him. And we're gonna meet up for some more football fun
Nice.
in Baton Rouge.
Nice. That sounds great. Yeah, absolutely great. All
Yeah.
right. So the topic today, where did you come up with this idea?
Well, look at the room. I built this, this big ass bookcase, right?
Yeah.
And here's what happens. The topic of today is called the upgrade spiral, right? People don't think of a spiral as going up, but
Yeah.
they usually think about it going down. But the upgrade spiral to me is like when you get something new, I don't care if it's a new couch or a new phone or whatever, everything else around it starts to look bad. Right. That's how I ended up
Yeah.
with these new chairs. I got some new stuff. I got a new cabinet, and then all of a sudden I didn't like the shelf over here. So I replaced the shelf, and then the chairs looked bad. So I replaced the chairs. And she just said yesterday, "Oh, I don't know if we like that carpet in here anymore with this rug." I'm
Oh
like, going,
no.
wait a second. This is the opposite of a downward spiral. This is an upward spiral, which means one thing makes everything else look bad. And I think that there's a business model around it.
Business model and some business lessons around that. I was just reading your little brief today, and I'm like, oh, that's really interesting. And I think it's really apropos for today too, because you're inundated with data, you're inundated with information. You're always seeing the latest, the greatest, the greatest, the latest, the latest, the greatest. And it's the same thing in business as you're constantly going, got upgrade, got upgrade, got upgrade, got upgrade, got upgrade. But sometimes I think you got to slow down and stop and say, yeah, is that actually helping your business move forward? The new chair in your house, I'm like, man, does it? Yeah, it's kind of nice to have, but does it? But it's tougher in business because you're burning cash that you usually need.
Well, I mean, let me say something positive about it first. When you really make a step forward in your business, and I don't care if it's like me, if I get a new monitor or
Mhm.
I invest in something that works, maybe a technique, an advertising campaign or something like that. Everything else I've done starts to look inadequate to what just happened. You're like going, damn, no wonder I
Yeah,
sucked over here because that's what works. That doesn't work. Right.
yeah,
Uh, so to me, what I'm looking for is that if something like that happens, I pay attention to it because it raises the standard of everything else I do. You got to remember,
mhm,
once you hit that level, you don't go back to being shitty. Right? You just don't. You're like, no, we look terrible if I put that out there. I even got, especially in the age of AI, I even got some new um, postcards that some of my community members are going to take and pass out to their friends and things like that drive
mhm.
traffic back in. Even the way they look, if I compare them to what happened 3 years ago to what I just gave them to hand out today, world of difference. It's like I'm a whole different company.
Yeah. Well, and I've noted, I guess this is sort of related to some of the stuff that I've been doing lately is I've been revisiting our company positioning, which I do pretty much every 6 months. I don't schedule it. I get to the point where I look and say, and maybe it is one thing changes or I'll adjust something, learn something, and then I realize this is the time I've got to take a deeper look and I've got to dig in because just like you said, everything else can kind of look a little shabby sometimes around it because you've learned something, you've refreshed something. And so I've been doing that. I've been diving into, I went through our positioning and now I'm starting to work into our messaging, but it all connects in a business and it started to go into our sales process, our onboarding process, because everything, it's like the customer experience from start to purchase to continue like to support and then success. Right. Um, And so once I saw this, you see that one thing, and then you start noticing, I got a few little creaky, cranky, rusty parts along here that I got to dig into. And so
Yeah.
what turned into like a very small, just like, oh, I'm going to dig into this and refresh it is going on like whenever I have time over the last few weeks. I'm taking a nice step forward on a bunch of different things, and it's raising the water level of everything up because of it. And it all started with just kind of that one little spot.
Yeah, and to me, this is totally different than like planned obsolescence from a business perspective, which means we're going to change like Apple, the way you plug into it to charge it. So you have to get something new, right? That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about a psychological shift that happens either in you as a business owner or you as a consumer, where your perception changed. What was acceptable yesterday looks terrible to you today, and all you did was buy one thing or do one thing or produce one thing.
Yeah. It does remind me a little bit of the spiral up on pizza. Because when you have like an epically good pizza, it raises your expectations and you can't go back. Then you have a pizza, you're like, the one that you liked 3 months before, and like, this pizza is not very good. It can happen in all areas where you set this new level, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's like it opens up all sorts of doors and experiences, right?
I'm fighting that right now I bought the Mac Studio, right? And I bought a nice one. It's the cube thing, right? I bought it. My computer runs nicer and all that. Guess what? I don't like my laptop now. It's too slow. It's not as great. It doesn't have as big a screen. All of these things. It's the weirdest thing that happens to people ever. And when I say there's a business model there's got to be a way to tap into that where people like know, but then you also have to build the ecosystem around it where I gave you this one thing. What other things can we add on to upgrade your whole, and elevate your whole experience?
Yeah. Apple's a master at that.
Oh, dude. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It's, that looks so good. Well, I guess, I've got a new phone. Well, now it makes this look kind of crappy and this look crappy. But there's a certain point where I get attached to my tech though. Like my laptop is a pretty old laptop, but there's a point where it transitioned from being a laptop to my trusty old laptop. Like I'm used to it. I like it. And so it'll be hard to upgrade until 30 seconds after I get the new laptop. They'll be like, why did I stick to this thing so long? But I kind of like it, right? Because I'm attached to it. It's like a old comfortable jacket or something.
Yeah, but it's still, if you was to upgrade, or maybe even with the old laptop, don't you compare it to other people's stuff or other things it could be?
I just don't know if my personality is sometimes like that. Like I do get attached to things, and then I'm not always looking for the newest thing. Like my car, like, at some point I can't believe how long, like, I've had it. It feels brand new to me, but I think I'm going to have trouble letting it go because I just, because I get attached to it. It's got memories attached to it. It's got, so my personality is a little bit more, once I warm up to something and I get used to it, I get a little bit attached to it. So I don't think I have that personality where it's always the new. When you get something and it's like, wow, okay, I totally appreciate this. Thing's amazing. But maybe I'm not as quick to go, okay, I need to do this, need to do that, because sometimes I'm comfortable, right? I'm comfortable with some of this stuff.
Yeah, but I think consumerism, right? The economy is somewhat driven by comparison. Right? Come on, there's even a saying for it. You're trying to keep up with the Joneses.
Yeah.
It happens in this block all the time. One person gets a pool, then the second, then the third, and the fourth. One person gets a lawn service, and then the second, and third, and fourth. I mean, it happens.
Yeah. My personality isn't like that though. If everyone gets something, I'm begrudgingly, I'm like, I'm not doing that. I can't help it. I have to be a little different. My clothes have to be a little different. And I don't like logo wear. I don't like, because I like to kind of have it, I don't know, under the radar. It's a personality thing. So I get it. I feel it, but I don't know if it's chronic for everybody or whatever, because I don't seem to sometimes feel the same way. Right.
All right. Let me reframe it then. All right. So maybe it's not, you're upgrading. So don't think about the word upgrade, that you're jealous of whatever. I mean, because before, and I don't think this has changed, we just call it upgrade now. But before, when something broke, you replaced it. right? So you're not driven by the emotion of he has it, so I have to have it. You're driven by the fact that it broke. I need a new one. I got a new one. And then if you've held it for 15 years or whatever your car is or whatever, your couch is, when you bring in the new replacement, it has to have a glow that outshines everything else around it.
It will, yeah. I'm not. I think it. I almost have to be forced to flip, and then once I flip, then I'm like, yeah, okay, that's pretty nice. I like that a lot, right?
Yeah. But I think if you here would be me with you. Like, how old's your car?
It's a 2020, 6 years.
Wow.
It's not that old. No, but I'm attached to it.
Now, yeah. All right. So
I still okay. The only car that I miss, like the car that I have now, I love. My accountant convinced me to get rid of my car. This was going back a long time ago, because I couldn't write it off anymore. And I'm like, well, I guess I have to do it. And I still miss that car.
yeah.
And I miss that car. I saw one kind of like it literally drive by the other day. And mine was like a custom, highly like a rare blue, a very specific type of blue, and it was a 1998 328 IS with an M kit, which is it's not even M3. It's not even, but I love that car. It was a 5-speed. It was beautiful. I still miss that car. And that's so that there's something there where I do get kind of attached to things. But then I had a bunch of cars in between, did not get attached to any of them. And so there's some things I get really loyal to, right?
Me too. Believe it or not, before I've got the vehicle I have now, I bought an Infiniti, the SUV version, in 2005.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't get rid of it until 2021.
It's a good, yeah.
And even then it was still running. I gave it to my daughter because she needed a car. The only reason I got a new car is that she needed one.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I mean, if one of us is going to have a car payment or pay money, might as well be me. This one still runs. And she's still driving it.
Yeah.
Right. So you think about that, like, so here's the thing with that. What happened with me is that as soon as I got rid of the old car and I put the new one in the garage, and my garage looked like shit. Oh, I got to do some of this garage.
Clean this up. Gotta clean my garage before I park my new car in it. Yeah, I know that feeling. Yeah.
Yeah. So then I got the floor done and all that in the garage and kind of, bought some new stuff to organize some things around it. Like, that's the upgrade spiral, is that, again, I wasn't trying to upgrade my life because everybody else bought a car, but I did it. And then everything else around it, I'm like, oh, I can't have it look like this.
Yeah. But like that's a good thing. I think that there's, I guess, some negative connotations we've sort of explored, but there is some really good things because it highlights some of those things. Like it highlights, and it can start to spread. That happens sometimes with me with cooking. Is I'll start getting more interesting, really fresh or some organic or something, and I'll start cooking something. Then it's like, this is not, it tastes really good, but it's also really healthy. And there's some really good, whatever. And it starts to spread out into other things, so yeah, there's a lot of good. So how do you, I guess there's two things is, can you use that approach to lift yourself up in your business, but can you also somehow do that with your team? And can you do that with your clients? Can you do something with your clients where they start to, because the thing is, like you said, you don't want to do like one new thing in your app and then everything else looks shoddy. But can you lift them up and it's almost like the rest of their business or their software looks shoddy because yours has elevated it, and yours is the centerpiece that elevates as a whole, not as a part.
Yeah, so I think that already happens, and we just never call it out. We never call it out as part of the business plan. even though you might be doing it, you never specifically point to it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Here's what
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah.
What we're talking about is an emotion, and the emotion is satisfaction, right?
Mhm.
I'm satisfied until I get, these chairs, and all of a sudden something else in the room doesn't look like it fits, right? I'm satisfied with this computer, but until I get a new one, and then it doesn't work or something, my phone's too slow or something. There's always something that you're dissatisfied of. We have been doing it in software for years. They used to call it, right? Or they still call it tiers, where they restrict and don't give you certain features.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Because you're dissatisfied. You'll upgrade, you'll go to the next level just so you can get that next thing, right?
Yes. Yeah.
It's you're preying on dissatisfaction. That's really what the emotion is you're trying to prey on.
Yeah, I think that's a little negative way to kind of portray it as preying
True.
on
Is not true.
Well, I like if you can flip it to the other side and saying I'm not going to force you to pay for stuff you don't use, right? So it depends how you view it,
how
but
do
also basically how you sell it.
Yeah, but how do you choose? Because these are the conversations I've been in. Is
Yeah.
what do we restrict at this level or this level? You're not thinking about, well, they probably don't use this much. You're thinking about what do we restrict to make the next level look more attractive. You guys didn't have that exercise?
I don't know if that's the approach we took though, because to a degree it is, but to a large degree, we started to see groups of customers, and we know it's like, okay, this is the most they'll spend, and it's probably the most they should spend, and this makes sense for them. But this next group, they need more capability, and there's a definite shift. Like there's something they need, but also the benefit that brings, they're willing to pay for. And so, it's like you can't do everything for one price because the pricing can be dramatically different. But that's how we sort of bucket it is what do they need and what sort of benefits can we bring them? What kind of value do we bring them? And then we sort of separate that out. So I know it's kind of the same thing, but it's just it feels like we think about it in a different way for some reason. Like,
Yeah, I think that most companies try to figure out how to get you to the next level. How do I move you up or out? I either want you up the value chain or I don't want you at all.
oh, I think that's a pretty flawed approach, right? Because um, if they're bringing value and they're bringing you revenue, I don't want them out, right? But you're also there's like I am never going to sell a $5 million business on something that a $500 million business needs. Like that, they're just very, very different, right? So it's not like I'm not expecting, and I'm not going to force somebody to move up because they're simply not going to. For us, it's customer segments, and it was what do they need.
Yeah, but
versus
in most cases, your lowest value client, your lowest tier client is your most expensive. That's why people
Mhm.
move up. Like, listen, I mean, they produce 80% of the complaints. They need to move up to the thing that can actually help them or, cancel. It's about support cost at that point in time. Not that they don't like the person. They're
Mhm.
saying, hey, how do I control cost?
Yeah, no, I understand. Like we know where we focus. Well, we focus on our upmarket customers, right?
Yeah.
But we've also put a lot of money and development time into technology that can also serve this group. And it's like, okay, well, but it generates revenue. But you're right. At some point, we may be going, and I don't know if it's that they'll move up because there's a point where they aren't going to move up. We can't give them I guess that's where you say move out, right? There's likely a point where our minimum will come up because we know this is where we have to focus. This is where we're spending all of our time. And there'll just be a point where you're right. It's too expensive to keep the ones that are just not the right fit where we
Yeah.
don't, suit them and they don't suit us, right?
What Here's an example of how this tiered system worked in favor of a company I have no connection to. You heard our song, right? Cashflow Mike song. It's on Spotify. It's on Amazon. It's on Apple. It's all that. Well, Jeff made that with AI, and I happened to ask him this weekend. I'm like, hey, what was the app or whatever you used to make it? And it's this company called Sonos, or not Sonos. That's the speakers. Sonos, or if you look it up, it's AI music, right?
Yep.
So he says, don't even bother with the basic version, go right to the pro. Here it is. This company has nothing to do with us, him or I. It's just something that he found on the internet and he had played around with. And he told me right up front, don't do it. And guess what? It was like $10 a year. Something ridiculous like that. And you saw what $10 a year got. I mean, that's a great song. I mean, that's a fantastic song.
Yeah.
But it was the third-party validation that don't use the free version, give them $10 because it's worth it.
It is. Well, I guess that a lot of that's based on the freemium model, and the freemium model is built to, like, you have to move people into paying customers. So you have to tantalize them enough, but you cannot give them much. Like it's such a fine line between, you got to hook them, but boy, you got to get them spending money. Now, I came up with an idea that I should not even sort of mention to you, but it would be kind of fun. Was what if you took your just see what you think of this. I want to see what you think of this.
I didn't know you were keeping secrets from me. This is weird. You're like, well, I shouldn't even mention this to you.
Well, no, because it's just going to make more work for you. But let me run this by you and see what you think. Because you write the description for the topic for the episode. What if you threw it into there and said, write me a 30-second jingle, and it's about the topic for that day? And then we just run it over top of our video. Like, of course, it's probably way too much work. But I kind of think, if it's that good at it and that sort of a low of a bar, that would be kind of neat that you actually, like, it would do a jingle that talks about the topic for the day.
Courtney's the one with the subscription, or I would do it. like now you're asking me to spend 10 more bucks. All right, so we need 2 people that are listening to the show.
If you guys want this idea, Patrick just said not in my chair. So that was a while back, actually. But Patrick, if you listen, rally up your friends. We need 2 new beer sponsors, $5 each, and that'll cover it'll cover Mike's $10, so we can do the new jingle, a custom jingle every show.
There you go. That's right. You will get a custom jingle because it doesn't take long. She went and she just posted. She didn't even have to put in full sentences of things that she wanted, and it's a fantastic song. And I might try to put it out there on the Facebook, but it's football in the family backyard or something like that. See, her dad has all these flags that people give to him for college or pro football teams. And at football season, he'll grab, he puts them in the laundry, washes them up, before he puts them away. But the next year, he hangs them all along his back fence. So when you go to his house, there's all these flags. I'm talking about 50 flags right now, all different teams. But they're a huge football fan or family. I mean, Courtney's mom, dad, sister went to LSU. Courtney went to A&M. Mom and dad, Arkansas, right? So this song, all she did was put in where they were born, a little bit about her, a little bit. That's all she did, just bullet points. This song is fantastic. I'm going to send it to you. Or no, I'm just going to post it on Facebook after this. But or I'll send it to you too. It's a great song. If I'm a musician or a songwriter or producer right now, I'm scared to death if I'm not using AI to do this shit. Yeah. If me or Courtney, in less than 30 minutes, that's typing out all the stuff that they want to talk about, like just bullet points. Me, I can probably just take, and that's a 3-minute song, by the way, she did. I can probably just take that paragraph we do for the description, boom, put it in there. It says, turn this into a 30-second jingle.
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
now, granted, this sort of stuff it's useful in a lot of ways, and it competes with sort of the low end, but people will still seek out original, beautiful music. Now, Patrick just suggested Neighbor Thomas and Neighbor Breaker
For what?
for our $5 an episode to help
Oh,
fund their music.
speaking of, neighbor Breger came down the other day and says, "Hey, I was at HEB, and HEB is kind of big. You know, it is probably the best grocery chain in the world." But
Yeah.
he went in there, and they've got this clearance rack, I guess. So that's what I learned about neighbor Breger is he drinks clearance beer.
Yeah.
Because they're 99 cents a can, you know what I mean? So that can you got would be 99 cents. Anything on these shelves or that. You know what he did? Took the whole shelf, threw it in the cart, and went and bought it. So I don't know how many guys he says, I'm going to sponsor, you know, in the next week or two, you know, with these clearance beers. I'm like going,
Clearance beers. That might be 2 episodes for one beer on the clearance shelf. 5 episodes for 1.99 beer. No, 5.99 beer for 1 episode.
is that crazy? Suno, I think, or Sonus or Suno. I think it's Suno.
Okay.
SUNO. AI. Maybe put that in the show notes or something like that. SUNO. AI music generator. It's
Okay,
fantastic, man. If you are not creating your own songs for yourself, go there and do it. It's fantastic.
I might have to. I'll have to give that a try. I should maybe do that with some follow ups. You know, like I have a meeting with a potential customer. We walk through. I always follow up with a little executive summary and that of our next steps and all that from our meeting. And maybe I should and also here's the song version of our next steps and summary of our meeting, and just have the meeting notes all just like sing a song about our meeting. Probably wouldn't work that well, but it'd be kind of fun.
It doesn't make people buy, I guess.
Make people run or run away.
You're going, oh, that's an odd company. I don't think I want to do that.
That is weird.
You know what's funny? All right, so I'm a weirdo. I mean, my algorithm's weird. I just thought about this upgrade thing. It's also content for social media and influencers.
Yeah.
You ever seen those guys that do like upgrades on house, right? Or they'll talk about home ownership or whatever. All of a sudden it becomes kind of like content on social media of things that they're adding to their house or doing to their house and things like that. Just because, oh, when I did this, I also had to do that. Matter of fact, I know we're not talking politics. I heard Trump yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Talk about redoing the reflection pond or what's that thing called? The reflecting lake. Anyway, the Lincoln Memorial and the Washington Memorial are on the opposite ends of this long reflecting pond, I think is what it is. Where Martin Luther King is, where the Million Man March is. It's like it's a central part of Washington D.C.
Yeah.
Well, they drained it and redid the whole thing, right? They sandblasted it. They're painting it a whole different color so it reflects more and all this type of stuff. So they renovated that whole reflection pond. I forget what it's called. But check this out. When they got the lake done with new surface and painted, then the sidewalks looked terrible. So then they had to do the sidewalks around it. It's exactly what we're talking about, is that once they did one thing, everything else around it didn't look as good. So you're like, oh, well, we had to fix the sidewalks and stuff because they didn't look bad when, before, but now they look bad because we renovated that one piece.
Oh, yeah. Where does it end? It's like cutting the legs of a table. You just keep trying to even up your table and cutting the legs, and pretty soon you got to sitting on the floor.
Yeah. So meaning that it can happen to anybody at any level. I don't care if you're the president of the United States or if you're just Mike redoing his office.
Same philosophy, same trap, I guess, in some ways, right?
It's the same emotion. right? It's
Mhm.
the same emotion. It doesn't look right now all of a sudden, right, and that
Yeah.
happens. You ever done it with like, i- have you ever changed your logo?
Yeah, yeah. No, I've polished it up over the years. Like, you always have to do a little bit here and there to tighten things up. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but you just call it tighten it up. But what happens is you change your logo, and then all of a sudden the other stuff around the logo don't look right. All of a sudden now
Yeah.
you got new business cards, and you got
Yeah.
everything new, and it's almost a new rebranded company because of it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the joke running around, is that every time we get to a new administration comes in Alberta, they change the name of a department for no particular reason, and then they have to reprint everything, and they got to change the website. They got to, because they changed the department of whatever to department of something or other. And that's just, it blows money all the way down. But the print shops make some money, so I guess that's all right for them.
Yeah, yeah. So I think to me there is an emotion that you tap into. And we've talked about that about, selling, marketing or whatever. I mean, people buy people, not products,
Mm.
right? And if you talk about why do I buy a person, right? I buy from you because I like you. Well, why do I like you? There's an emotional connection I got just from talking to you for 15 seconds or 3
Mhm.
seconds or whatever it is. So that's the hardest thing in life to do, is to figure out how do I connect to that emotion, because it's the emotion that makes you do the thing.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, you've heard me talk about the limbic brain, and
The lizard brain, they call it, right?
is it the lizard brain? Okay,
Well, they call it yeah, it's like the nickname is the lizard brain, I think, for
all right.
if we're talking about the same thing, yeah. It's like the instinctual brain.
Yeah, it's the one that doesn't talk. It doesn't, it doesn't have ration. It just has feeling, right? And
Yeah.
that's where gut feelings come from and all that. I didn't know they
Mhm.
called it the lizard brain. That's interesting.
Yeah, yeah. I've heard it called the lizard brain, yeah.
Yeah, very cool. Uh, but it has no capacity for language, right? So what
Mhm,
the Homo sapien, or the neocortex brain, the outer part of the brain that makes us,
mhm.
it has capacity for language and ration. So
Yep,
when you get that gut feeling, that's what the outside of your brain does, is it tries to go, why do I feel like that? You try to answer the question why.
yep,
Inside, though, is what you have to speak to if you want somebody to buy from you or to support you or fall in love with you or do anything like that, vote for you. It doesn't matter. When you make those decisions, you make it with that limbic or lizard brain.
mhm,
And then we try to rationalize why we think that way.
yeah,
But the best thing I can tell you about that is when you fell in love with Heather, you may not have known it. You just felt it,
yeah, yeah. You're
right?
right. It's not a rational thing, yeah,
Yeah. And then all of a sudden you go, oh shit, I'm in love.
yeah.
Like, that's why I'm acting weird. That's why everything's crazy.
Yeah. Well, and it is, it's not a rational thing, but and I like how you're talking about the gut and the gut instinct and that. And I'm over the years, the one thing I think that's changed a lot is I virtually always trust my gut. Just
Uh,
always, always, always. Because when I was younger, my gut would be telling me something, and I would try and rationalize my way out of it and then get burned. And I'm like, man, I should have trusted my gut. And now that I'm older, I don't question it. I trust it. And one of the reasons I trust it, and I know I brought it up on the show before, is I read an article where they explained that using your gut, or your gut feeling, is pattern recognition, and to a large degree, right? And so that's, you trust it because it's actually your subconscious has done all. It's like AI. It's like all this math in the background, right? And it's figuring things out. And so it's not some weird random thing. It's actually rooted in logic and everything else. It's just instantaneous. It doesn't take all the time to calculate it and run everything. It knows it, right.
I, I've got to tell you, so one night in high school, I'm hanging out. I'm the only junior with 4 or 5 seniors. partying. We're drinking beer. It's like a Friday or Saturday night, and one of my buddies' dad's not home, so we hung out there and we're playing cards and we're drinking beer and we're just being dudes. Right? That's kind of what it is. It gets around midnight, 1, maybe 2 in the morning, something like that. And 3 of the guys go, "Hey, come on, we're leaving. We're going to go downtown." And, it's 2 or 3 in the morning. I'm the junior. I'm with these seniors. I'm going, "Hell yeah, let's go." I go out the front door. My best friend pulls me on the shoulder. He says, "You don't feel right. Let's not go." I didn't feel it.
Yep.
He did it. Right.
Yep.
He pulled me back. We didn't go. Turns out those guys went downtown. The Pontiac Fiero was on sale and it was up on one of these little ramps. You've seen the ramps go up.
Yep.
And the center of the town square or whatever, it's at the car dealership, and they set that sucker on fire.
Ooh.
And got arrested, went to jail, man, all kinds of bad stuff happened. Like, holy shit. I don't know who was talking to you that night, but me just listening to you, because I wasn't happy about, going, but if my best friend wasn't going, I'm not going either.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm like, all right, dude, if you're not going, I'll just stay with you. Right. Because I didn't want to leave him by himself.
Yeah.
And so I did that. And that's what happened. And he saved what could have been a complete change in my life trajectory.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
Just from his gut that night.
His gut.
Yeah.
But that also fed the information into you that if something along those lines, something would come up later, could be years later, could be now, something could come up. And how much do you bet your gut goes, nope. And you may never make the connection to all the way back. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
All the
it
time.
teaches you. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'd much rather just stay at home. Obviously, this is where I'm in most of the time. So
yeah,
very cool. So tell me about, I'm going to put you on the spot. I'm going to ask you about the Canadians. I want you to say it out loud in front of the Canadians. I mean, are you in, you out? What are you doing? Are you happy? You sad? What's happening with what we're talking about, folks, is college, or not college, hockey playoffs are on. Mm-hmm. Last night, the Canadians got whipped. I'm talking about bad by Carolina.
Yes.
It wasn't close. Now, Canadians are an awesome team. Don't get me wrong. Courtney's a big Vegas Knights fan, so we're waiting to see what happens there. I know Blaine is an Edmonton Oilers fan.
Yeah.
What are you thinking? Where's your head at right now?
Well, I'm thinking the playoffs ended at the end of round 1 when the Oilers were eliminated. That's what I'm thinking. And that's,
there you go.
It's just what it is. It's I know I actually caught some of the game last night because we were sitting in a bar and happy hour and stuff. And then we watched some of the game, but frankly, it's a fact. I'm an Oiler fan, and it does not mean that much to me to past that point, right? So it's not like I'm a real big fan of anybody that's left right now, to be completely honest. So yeah.
There you go. All right, so I owe Facebook a copy of the family backyard football. I forget what the name of it is. Flags in the backyard. That's what it is.
That's the name. Right.
And guess what? Yeah. AI came up with that name. Courtney didn't. Yeah. She just put in all these facts about their family, and it says, "Oh, this song should be Flags in the Backyard," and came up with this fantastic song. So when you hear it, you're gonna go, "That's actually a good song." Right? It's surprisingly good. So I owe people that. You can go to Facebook, right, and listen to that song. You can listen to the Cashflow Mike song there. You can like and subscribe and do just about anything from Facebook, right? At least get started.
Yeah, well, like, subscribe, follow. I know everyone asks that, but it does make a difference. But most importantly, buy us a beer, sponsor an episode, sponsor 100 episodes. We would love it. We would really, really appreciate it. We always appreciate the support of our existing sponsors. And also, I got to remind you guys can reach out to beer@mikeandblaine.com and reach out via email if you have any questions, suggestions, tell us to get lost, whatever you want. You can just email us.
Yeah. We'd love to hear from you. We're starting to hear from a lot of folks. And man, I'll tell you what, for the first time, there's momentum. You feel it? Do you feel the momentum of what's happening? This
year's been fun because I think the topics have been really interesting and topical, and that makes it such an interesting show for me, but I think it makes it interesting for people listening to.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Hey, next week, something bigger and better.
Check out their website at mikeandblaine.com. Then subscribe to the podcast and buy these guys a beer.